How are you all doing tonight? My name is Bigbobbedboi and welcome. Prepatch is coming out August 30th and holy shit, that is soon. So I wanted to very briefly cover what all is coming in the prepatch. The first thing I want to mention is the prepatch is Wrath. We can't go to Northrend, can't level to 80, but you are technically on Wrath. The login screen changes, all of your class changes and new talents, that will come in with the prepatch. Stuff like druids getting polearms, rogues finally getting one-handed axes. Have fun leveling that from 1. I know specifically for us hunters there's going to be a few things that I want to do in the prepatch, so you can of course expect a video in a few days related to that. Mainly pet stuff though. Anyway, the prepatch also brings Inscription. Like JC in the TBC prepatch, you'll be able to get Inscription up in the Wrath prepatch. You'll be able to use the glyphs. You can't use all 6 glyphs though, but at 70 you can use 5 glyphs, 2 major and all 3 minor slots. The Barbershop, we talked a bit about it in the last video already, but the Barbershop is also coming in the prepatch. In Stormwind it's in the Trade District, in Org it's weirdly in the Cleft of Shadows. Not sure it's the best idea to be shaving and performing surgery down there. The lighting looks terrible, but whatever. For a few gold, you can change your hair, piercing, tentacles, horns, genitals, whatever you need, really. Dual Spec is also going to drop with the prepatch. You learn it at your class trainer, and it costs 1,000 gold. If you are not hurting for gold, I would go ahead and grab this in the prepatch. It doesn't go down in price later, and a lot of classes will make good use of this while leveling. I'll probably level this like Frost, Dual Wield Frost, I really find that fun. And then I'll have a tank spec on dual spec so I can tank dungeons while leveling. Even for Hunter, I'd like to have Marksman and then a BM spec for off spec. That way, if I just happen to run across a rare pet and I need to be able to tame exotic pets, well, I can just swap over and do it. Achievements, they're here and you can achieve them. There's just not really a lot to say about achievements, but they're coming in the prepatch. Pet and Mount tab. All your pets and mounts are now learned and stored in these tabs, not your inventory anymore. This really does help out a lot with inventory and mount and pet collecting. Wrath does bring a lot of cool new pets and mounts, so this is really nice. And kind of along with this, the mount prices change, but only for ground mounts, so you don't get cheap epic flying. And 2 other small nice things for mounts that come in the prepatch. So cheap flying is no longer 60% speed. That gets bumped up to 150% speed, which is very nice. And even nicer, if you go in water while mounted, you are no longer dismounted. I'm going to thank Hunter Jesus for that one. PvP gear. This is a really good time to go grab some PvP gear. The Season 4 gear is available from Honor, and it will last you pretty far into Wrath. Now, I'm not going to say farming a full set of this gear is going to be the best use of your time in the prepatch, because it will be replaced, and it's kind of fun getting gear from quests and dungeons while leveling. But if you're a fresh 70 or under geared alt, I would recommend picking up at least a little bit of it. I just leveled a Shaman, so I'll probably grab fist weapons and grab some of the gear for DK I'm going to level in the prepatch. Now, I'm not 100% sure how much Honor this stuff will cost, but it's not going to be that bad. The prices have been different on the prepatch and on the beta, so I can't say for certain, but these are what they are on the prepatch right now, and it's fairly cheap because the Honor gains in Wrath are also more than in TBC. Alright, that was all the smaller stuff. Let's cover a few bigger things, like Death Knights. Now, this is dope shit, and I am pumped. You can level Death Knights up to level 70 in the prepatch. If you've never leveled a Death Knight before, it is great. You start at level 55 in full green gear, weapon skills leveled up with 4 12-slot bags. You are tasked with completing one of the best questing experiences, maybe the best, WoW has ever had. There's a good story, you get to interact with a lot of characters you know, but haven't done anything with other than fight before. There's actually a lot of interesting insight into the Scourge and what it's like to be a Death Knight. I know it might be difficult, especially at launch, but I highly recommend actually paying attention to the quests. And while this is blasphemy to a lot of people, read the quest text, because it really is interesting. By the time you finish the Death Knight questline, you'll have a full set of blue gear, all your talent points. Yeah, those are actually kind of locked to get them from questing. A 100% speed mount that looks badass, and be around level 59 depending on how many mobs you kill. So you can stroll into Outland feeling like a god. This does mean you're missing professions. The only exception is first aid, that does get leveled for free. So I would plan on leveling your professions in the pre-patch. And the final big thing in the pre-patch, the Scourge invasion. Remember the Scourge invasion with Naxxramas and Classic? This turns that up to 11. Well, maybe not all the way to 11, that's pretty high. Most amps stop at 9 or 10, but it does turn it up. It is better than the one in Classic. It's broken up into two parts. First we have the zombie plague, then the actual invasion. The zombie plague starts on September 6th, so a week after pre-patch drops, and ends on the 13th. Now this part is probably what you remember, or at the very least this is the shit you have heard about. The plague actually rolls out in different phases. The first phase is the infected grain. You touch the infected grain, it's in Booty Bay, and you'll get the infected debuff. 10 minutes go by, you're a zombie. If you get the debuff, it can be cured by an Argent healer, which are in capital cities, or normal cleanse disease means. Stage 2. That plagued grain is now in the major cities, and there are now cockroaches everywhere, which just really gives me Tokyo flashbacks. If you hit the dick bug, you will get infected debuff from before, but it's a shorter duration and harder to cure. Stage 3. At this point, we're basically in Fear the Walking Dead Season 1 kind of situation. Shit has not hit the fan, but it's pretty close to doing so. It's on its way to the fan. NPCs will now be turning into zombos. Especially in low-level zones, there's a lot of them, and they will infect you as well. Stage 4. The infection becomes harder to cure again, turning you into a Prince Albert lookalike after only 2 minutes now. Assload of quests are also now available. Invasion sort of begins. You don't have to complete the quests right away. You'll have until the end of the invasion. The invasion part is largely the same as it was in Classic. Undead are going to spawn by major cities and some other zones. It will show where they're at on your map. And there are big Scourge pyramids flying around, which I just now realized are probably a ripoff of the Black Pyramid of Nagash. Stage 5. We are now in full-on 28 days later territory. You will have trouble doing anything during all of this, like for real. People will be everywhere trying to fuck shit up, but it gets real bad by stage 5. It only takes 1 minute for the debuff to zombo you, and there are no Argent healers anymore. Stage 6. What's a zombie movie where they actually find a cure? I think the Omega Man did that. So yeah, we're in Omega Man territory here. Charlton Heston is still glorious as fuck. So the disease is cured, no more zombies, and that part of the event is now completely over, which means from the 13th to the 26th, it's just the invasion part, and it's pretty cool. The Stormwind Harbor and Orgrimmar are regularly under siege by undead with huge frostworms flying in. I vividly remember getting fucked up by one of those frostworms on a mage back in original. Most of the quests from earlier can still be completed. There are some new ones. Most will start in Stormwind or Org, and there's a few at Light's Hope Chapel. At any time during the invasion, you can go to one of the invasion sites, which again, they show up on your map. You kill the undead there, and you can get necrotic runes, which, just like before, can be turned in for loot. Most of it is garbage, I'm not gonna lie. You can get potions, okay, consecrated sharpening stones or the oil equivalent, but those don't work on level 80 weapons, so it's really only useful for this pre-patch. There are a few trinkets, but their actual effect is mostly trash. There's one that like drops a Holy Nova AoE, one that drops Consecrate AoE, but they do almost no damage. The coolest one is the Warhorn because it will summon a Paladin who just does Paladin shit like Bubble Hearth. There is an Argent Dawn to Bard for 8 runes, which that does look nice, so I might pick that up. But the most important thing they sell to me is the Undead Slaying sets. There's a set for plate, cloth, leather, and mail, but they're all DPS, so there's no healer or tank set. A decent enough item level, it's around the equivalent to Karazhan gear, and they mostly look great. They're a recolor of Paladin tier 2 for the chest and legs. Plate gets the proper shoulders. The others, not as lucky, but overall they are really nice looking sets in my opinion. And they are unique to this event. If you're really into transmog, I would get them and hold on to them. I have like different parts of the set, and whenever I play retail I see them, I get really pissed off because I never finished any of the 4 sets. The shoulders and gloves are purchased with necrotic runes. The chest and legs are drops. I've heard conflicting info on what specifically drops the chest and legs, but I know for sure they are the mini bosses at the Scourge invasions. I think it's the Bone Witch that drops the legs, and Shadow of Doom drops the chests. But there may be other rares at the Scourge invasions that drop them. Probably the most important item in the pre-patch is the Haunted Memento. It's a random and not even super rare drop from any of the Scourge invasion mobs. What this gives is a haunted buff and makes a black ghost follow you around. It is certified dope shit. They are unique, but they can be traded. I would hold on to a few of these. I've got a few that I've kept since the original. It's one of my favorite little items in all of WoW. They did nerf these on retail though, and the ghost would only occasionally show up. I don't know if they're going to do that for Classic. I farmed for a while and I couldn't get one to drop on the PTR, and well, I wanted to get back to playing Total War Warhammer 3. A bunch of new DLC came out, I couldn't help it. Okay, last minute update, because I love you guys, like Hunter Jesus loves us all. I went back on a pre-made DK and farmed an invasion for about an hour and a half or so, and I got a Haunted Memento. Actually, I got 4 of them. I did find one rare, and he dropped the pants. I could not solo Shadow of Doom with the pre-patch geared DK. I got wrecked. I mean, he was doing a ton of damage, so I wasn't able to find out what he dropped. But the Memento is definitely nerfed. I ran around with it for a while, and I only saw the ghost one time. And the final thing for the invasion, remember the undead bosses that invaded dungeons and Classics Scourge event? They're all back, all of them. So if you ever wanted any of their drops for some reason, you can go back and get it. And there's one new invasion boss, Tenris Murkblood. He's hanging out in Kara. He's pretty easy, honestly. It's not a big deal. You just gotta stop attacking him. He doesn't drop a lot of loot. He drops a bat pet that the whole group can supposedly loot. I didn't remember that being the case in the original, but from Wowhead comments from the original pre-patch, it is supposedly that way. So everybody will get it if you clear the boss. And he drops a 2-handed axe that is completely unique to this event, the Arcanite Ripper. It's a pretty cool looking axe. It's a pretty cool it's a pretty cool looking axe with a previously secret on use. So it wasn't shown on the tooltip, but it is now for some reason. The unused effect turns you into an undead and you play the axe. I'm not bragging here, but as someone who is, or was, I don't know, an actual badass on guitar, I am offended. You have offended me. I would never wear this ugly ass dress when playing guitar. Or gloves. Who the hell plays guitar with gloves on? It is a cool axe though, and if you want it, this is your only chance, and you'll have to roll for it, so I'm really wishing you luck. Hopefully Hunter Jesus is on your side. Thankfully there is a quest to kill him as well, and that rewards the Monster Slayer's kit, which, like previously mentioned trinkets, is shit. But it is a Castlevania reference, and Castlevania is amazing, so I'm happy about it. Tell me in the comments what is your favorite Castlevania, but you can't say Symphony of the Night. And that's everything for the Scourge event, which leaves just one final thing to talk about. A level boost / deluxe edition. So yeah, Blizz has not announced any type of level boost or deluxe edition like we got in TBC. That is fucking weird. I really expected them to do one, and they still might, but as of the 26th of August, Blizz has not made any mention of a level boost for Wrath Classic. The only reason I could see them not doing one is if some pencil pusher at Blizzard said it would make more money to only introduce the faction change and not a level boost. because people will just faction change and transfer all of their characters versus just level boosting one. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know where the boost is, but I sure as shit ain't complaining if there's no deluxe edition. I told you videos were coming back full throttle, and I wasn't lying. Next up, I have a Hunter video I'm working on. Then I'll probably do DK pre-bis followed by Hunter pre-bis. If there's anything specific you'd like to see, let me know in dim comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit that sub button, bell, like button, are you going to play DK button, share button, all that other shit. I appreciate each and every one I get. This channel even has memberships now. You can check them out by clicking the join button right by the sub button. I stream right here on YouTube. I hope you'll join me. But that is going to be all for this one. I really appreciate you all watching, and I will see you all for the next one.